Welcome back to Fireside Jets with your boys, Alex and Ryan. Today, we're taking a look at the Jets secondary, how awesome they've looked up to this point in the season. They seemingly continue to get better and better and better. So we're going to take a look at Sauce, take a look at DJ, a little bit of LaMarcus Joyner, Michael Carter II, to kind of get an idea of what they've done, what they've accomplished, and just how locked down they've been. You know, every opponent that comes up against the Jets, you can't really throw on them. Josh Allen looked pedestrian against the Jets, obviously. He got injured in that game, goes out, has a pretty good game against the Vikings. So clearly, that Jets secondary was just locking it down. He didn't see anything open, even when he was running with the ball and trying to make things happen on a last-ditch effort, and just couldn't really find much. So I was pretty impressed with what the Jets did against Buffalo. Now you have the Patriots. Mac Jones, not very good. Their receivers are underwhelming, so this should be a much easier task. Obviously, you never know. Teams just find a way on game day to curate production. But I'm pretty confident this defense and this secondary is going to be pretty locked down, and they've gotten some unbelievable results from the rookie and Sauce. And then, of course, DJ Reed, the veteran presence over on the opposite side. But Ryan, before we dive into the secondary here, how you do today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Alex. I think the secondary has been a huge catalyst to the Jets' 6-3 start, and it's really, one of the main proponents week in and week out that's giving them a chance to win these games. Obviously, from here on out, you're looking at really, especially in these divisional matchups, they basically count as 2 games. So it's obviously every game from here on out is going to be the biggest game. That's just how well the Jets have situated themselves to this point. And you obviously start with the cornerback trio of Sauce Gardner, DJ Reed, Michael Carter II in the slot. All 3 guys who, per PFF, if you like them or not, I mean, they all were in the top 15 of their rankings, which I think – really says something about just how well this trio has played for the Jets. What they've really meant to this team's success week in and week out. I don't really think that the 3 of them, collectively have had one bad game all year when you look at it. I mean, they've been so good. Obviously, you start with Sauce. I mean, the 13 pass breakups, which is the most in the NFL. DJ has 7. MC2 has 5 passes defended, which already ties his amount from last year. So he's shown, a ton of progress with his ball production. And he and Sauce both have 2 interceptions. DJ has 1. And we've seen DJ's ball skills on display, with his arm length at that right corner position time and time again. I think these 3 guys have, at a premium position especially, they've been huge to the success of a position the Jets have struggled at for years. They're all relatively young. I mean, DJ, like you said, is the veteran, and he just turned 26 years old. Sauce being a 22-year-old rookie. MC2, 23 years old in his second year. These 3 guys have been huge, at a premium position that the Jets have obviously made it a point to address, especially with Sauce and DJ this offseason. And then you take it to safety, with Jordan Whitehead at strong safety, who the Jets obviously signed in free agency this year. Another young player at 25 years old with experience, with physicality, a hard-hitting presence, that's really great coming down, from depth. He can operate from the box as well. And, he's been good against both the run and the pass this year. And, LaMarcus Joyner at the free safety position, obviously the, lone older guy of this group. I want to say he's like 31 or 32. A guy with some man coverage skills, has played a part in, I want to say 5 total turnovers since week 4, when the Jets really started to pick up their winning streak, so he's definitely in the turnover department been better. And, when it comes to allowing the big plays for opponents, he's definitely done a good job of keeping those in the minimum, playing that, single high, free safety position deep. And even the depth. I mean, you look at Brandon Eccles, who comes in some big, big dime packages, on third downs. He'll play in the slot on some tight ends. I mean, he was a guy, him and Bryce Hall last year for, 2 young players did a nice job. And obviously the Jets go out and get Sauce and DJ, so those guys' roles decrease. But the depth of this group, I mean, you even look at safety, whether it's Will Parks, Ashton Davis, Tony Adams. The Jets have really done a good job. And I think, this group is, like I said, one of the main reasons why the Jets have a great chance here from here on out.
Yeah, ultimately it comes down to health at the end of the day, right? Like you look at the playoffs, who's making the playoffs, who has a good chance. It always comes down to who's the healthiest at the end of the day. And I think the Jets defense right now, knock on wood, is very healthy. And that's a great thing. And then having that depth that can come in and, it's different when you have depth pieces starting and depth pieces mitigating fatigue. Totally different things. Those depth pieces come in, give your guys a couple of plays off, and you won't really lose a step. And then, you have other situations where they're actually playing as starting snaps because the starters are down. And the Jets really haven't had that many problems. So that's been a pretty positive sign for the defense. DJ Reed has come over here. He's given up 244 yards this season, no touchdowns, has an interception and 6 pass breakups. In his last 3 games, he has 5 pass breakups in total. 3 came against Denver. in week 7. And he's been targeted pretty heavily, right? 9 targets against Denver, 5 receptions for 50 yards, 4 targets against New England, gave up 17 yards and 39 yards against Buffalo and Gabe Davis. So, this is definitely a good situation where DJ Reed's that veteran, lockdown, 5'9", 188 pounds. He can travel with smaller guys, faster guys. And then you have Sauce on the other side, who's just been, arguably the best corner in football right now. I mean, he is playing lights freaking out. I've never seen a game where a guy finished with negative yards. Like, he gave up negative 4 yards against New England, had tackle for a loss. Ridiculous, right? He gave up that one big pass early in the game to Buffalo, but after that, locked the hell down. No way. Had an interception, massive play in the fourth quarter. He's clutch, man. He's confident, he's clutch, he backs it up. And that's what I kind of like about Sauce Gardner, is that he doesn't only have a ridiculous amount of confidence, but he actually backs it up. He proves that it's worthwhile. You know what I mean? He proves that he should be confident because of his play on the field. Just been a tremendous young player for this team. 10 pass breakups this season. They're starting to look away from him, right? He's only been targeted 6 times in his last 2 games. He was targeted 10 times against Denver, gave up 16 total yards, right? This kid is just on fire right now. A maximum yardage of 51 against Cincinnati in week 3 ever since then. Don't want to look his direction. You're not going to complete a lot of passes. And if you are, you're going to go down pretty quickly. So, when you're looking at Sauce Gardner right now, would you say he's the CB1? Because right now I'm thinking Sauce maybe CB1.
I think he is the CB1, and that's really what the Jets drafted him to be. Obviously, when you sign DJ to a big contract like the Jets did, and knowing Sauce is a rookie, it potentially gives Sauce, some time and just some breathing room. But I mean, he is surpassed even, I think, the loftiest of expectations one could have had to this point. You obviously, touched up on some of the stats there, and I think that Bills game, obviously that first big play to Stephon Diggs, that was a lot of film study as much as anything, because out of that same look all year, Stephon Diggs was running that out route, which Sauce was kind of sitting on there. And obviously you give credit to Stephon Diggs. I mean, he had a feeling Sauce would be sitting on the out route there. And obviously from there, Sauce adjusted, and, Diggs was limited, the rest of the way to a fairly good amount. So Sauce has really been great, and like you said, limiting big plays, staying poised in prime situations late in games. Obviously the Bronco game, I mean, they threw at him, I want to say, the final 2 4th downs of the game. Obviously the Bills game, they threw at him the final play of the game on, a deep ball as well. And I just think that poise, the calm demeanor that he plays with, the confidence that he breathes at all times. I mean, all those things go such a long way. And I think those, intangibles are a big part of the reason why the Jets loved him as much as they did. I just think the attitude that this guy brings, on and off the field goes such a long way. And, with DJ and MC2, I mean, this trio, it's hard to attack. I mean, you really got to pick your poison. Like you said, teams really haven't been throwing at DJ as much. Obviously, he had the game with 3 pass breakups against the Broncos, like you said. And I mean, his physicality as a tackler has been on display to this point. MC2 in the slot. I mean, there's a lot of responsibilities you have in terms of fitting the run, pre-snap motion stress. There's a lot, of intelligence you got to have. Like we discussed with Garrett Wilson all the time at the slot receiver position. I mean, you got to be smart. And, MC2 he's allowed, I feel like the outside guys of Sauce and DJ to really kind of elevate their games, because you really can't test him in the slot either. I mean, he is just as good. I think he's probably a top 5 slot corner in football right now. And, this trio with their youth, what they're doing already in just a total of 9 games together is as exciting as it gets. And, really pumped about the future of this defensive backfield.
Absolutely. And I think they're probably going to go and maybe draft a free safety. I mean, LaMarcus Joyner definitely has played pretty well. After week 3, he's actually been tremendous by most accounts. I mean, he has given up 3 touchdowns this year. 2 of them came in the first 2 weeks. He gave up 1 against New England. Tackling has been pretty solid for the most part. And then, 2 pass breakups. He has 3 interceptions. So those old legs are still moving, man. He's 32 years old, just about 5'8", 185 pounds. He's not a big guy by any means. Actually, he's pretty small. But I'll tell you what, he's come to play. That veteran presence is really nice to have back there, especially with Sauce, a younger guy. And then you get Jordan Whitehead, who's, definitely more experienced. But so far, I've been pretty impressed. The secondary has stepped up. LaMarcus Joyner was the key, I think, to making them very, very good, just because he was a liability going into the season. Like, we knew Sauce would be good, or at least we hoped he would be, and we had expectations. DJ, we knew would be solid. We knew Jordan Whitehead was, about an average level strong safety, but we were very concerned because during the preseason, I remember both of us were like, LaMarcus Joyner is a vulnerability back there. Like he could be a bad, play waiting to happen. Just he got burned a couple times badly, bad angles, bad pursuit. And then he just turned it into a new gear. Something they saw in film, they were like, wait a second, we're not using it right. Because obviously they found something wrong because you don't just change like that, right? It doesn't, after week 3, his whole game changed. I don't know what they did, but clearly they noticed something was off and they could change the system a little bit. Maybe they were playing a little bit more, deep coverage with those cornerbacks on and helping LaMarcus Joyner just kind of roam that middle portion, not need that sideline to sideline range. Because I don't think he has that sideline to sideline range, but he's good. He has good instincts. He's a decent tackler. So I think he was the key cog. If he panned out, everything would just kind of come together, and he's become more than that. He's become really just a leader, and he only wanted to play for the Jets. I remember him saying, I was going to retire. It was either the Jets or I was retiring. So that's pretty awesome. And I think that, Robert Sala's gotten the most out of him. So big kudos to those guys and Jeff Ulbrich as well. So this secondary coming together nicely, man. I mean, this is a Super Bowl caliber secondary. In my personal opinion, I think it's a Super Bowl caliber secondary. Look at any other secondary in the league. I don't think that you'll find another one that's playing as well as the Jets is right now. And as long as they are playing that level, they will be in every game. They will be in every single game. As long as Zach Wilson doesn't throw 3-4 interceptions, you're going to be fine. So right now I'm pretty excited about that. But guys, I'd love to hear your perspectives below on this secondary, your thoughts about the growth, development of these players, how Sauce has looked. I imagine you guys are very excited about that. DJ Reed obviously has been pretty much locked down for the most part. Pick your poison. You want to move your receivers around? We have elite cornerbacks who will travel, or they'll be whatever side you go to the left, go to the right, go to the slot. You're going to find resistance at all points. And I think that's what the Jets have been trying to curate, and they've done a really damn good job doing it. So always happy to hear thoughts, opinions below in the YouTube comments. Make sure to like and subscribe as always. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening into Friday, and we'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Jets episode.